A goiter is simply an enlargement of the thyroid gland, regardless of the underlying cause. The thyroid may be functioning normally, producing excessive hormones, or producing fewer hormones than normal. So remember this important point. Goiter describes the size of the thyroid gland, not its function. The first is simple goiter, where the gland enlarges without excessive hormone production. The second is toxic goiter, where the enlarged gland produces excessive thyroid hormones, resulting in hyperthyroidism. The third category is neoplastic goiter, which includes both benign and malignant thyroid tumors. The fourth group is thyroiditis, where inflammation affects the thyroid gland. Understanding this classification makes the entire thyroid chapter much easier to remember. Now let's understand how a simple goiter develops. Normally, the thyroid gland requires iodine to produce thyroid hormones. When hormone production becomes insufficient, the pituitary gland senses deficiency and releases more thyroid stimulating hormone, or TSH. This persistent TSH stimulation causes the thyroid gland to enlarge NINA. Initially, the enlargement is diffuse and smooth. However, with repeated stimulation over many years, multiple nodules may develop, resulting in a multinodular goiter. Several factors can cause a simple goiter. The most common cause worldwide is iodine deficiency. Certain foods also interfere with thyroid hormone synthesis. These are known as goitrogenic foods and include cabbage, cauliflower, broccoli, turnips, and other vegetables belonging to the Brassica family. Some medications can also produce thyroid enlargement. Physiological states, such as puberty and pregnancy, increase the body's metabolic demands and may cause temporary enlargement of the thyroid gland. Although many simple goitres remain harmless for years, complications can occur. A very large thyroid gland may compress the trachea, producing breathing difficulty. Long-standing multinodular goitres may eventually become toxic and begin producing excessive thyroid hormones.
Occasionally, malignant transformation can occur, particularly in long-standing nodular goitres.
Therefore, any thyroid swelling that enlarges rapidly or produces pressure symptoms should always be investigated carefully. Sometimes the thyroid enlarges downward into the chest instead of outward into the neck. This condition is called a retrosternal or substernal goiter. Because it grows behind the sternum, it may compress the trachea, esophagus, or nearby blood vessels. Patients may complain of cough, breathlessness, difficulty swallowing, or noisy breathing. Large retrosternal goitres usually require surgical removal. Now let's move on to hyperthyroidism. Hyperthyroidism means the thyroid gland is producing excessive amounts of thyroid hormones. The clinical condition produced by these excess hormones is called thyrotoxicosis. These hormones increase the body's metabolic rate, causing almost every organ system to work faster than normal. Graves' disease. Graves' disease is an autoimmune disorder. Instead of protecting the body, the immune system produces antibodies that bind to and continuously stimulate the TSH receptors on thyroid cells. These antibodies are called thyroid-stimulating immunoglobulins. Graves' disease is especially common in young women and is classically associated with eye involvement. Patients with hyperthyroidism often appear restless, anxious, and unusually energetic. Even though their appetite increases, they continue to lose weight because their metabolic rate is greatly elevated. Common symptoms include excessive sweating, heat intolerance, palpitations, tremors, nervousness, irritability, and difficulty sleeping. In Graves' disease, the most characteristic finding is exophthalmos, where the eyeballs appear to protrude forwards. Patients may also have lid retraction, producing a characteristic staring appearance. Another classic sign is lid lag, where the upper eyelid fails to follow the eyeball while looking downward. These eye signs are highly characteristic of Graves' disease. Whenever hyperthyroidism is suspected, thyroid function tests are the first investigations performed. Typically, TSH levels are low, while T3 and T4 levels are elevated. Ultrasonography helps assess the size, structure, and presence of thyroid nodules. There are three major treatment options for hyperthyroidism. The first is antithyroid medication, such as carbimazole or propylthiouracil, which reduce thyroid hormone production. The second is radioactive iodine therapy, which selectively destroys overactive thyroid tissue. The third option is surgery. Thyroidectomy is usually recommended for large toxic goitres, compressive symptoms, suspicion of malignancy, or when medical therapy and radioactive iodine are unsuitable. We'll study thyroid surgery and its complications in detail in the next lecture. Thank you for watching.